Every man has a shadow, lust, anger, hunger for power. You've been taught to fear it, to hide it, to numb it. That's why you're weak. That's why you're stuck in loops. Your dark side isn't the enemy, it's the weapon. Men in my 6-week sprint don't just build structure, they integrate their shadow into dominance. The link is in the description below if you're not afraid of what that means. So what we have to get into our brains is that the shadows that you have within your personality, because we all do, again, lust, this desire for more power, and you have to learn how to integrate that to really assume the position that you're looking to have, right? Because you can't avoid what you desire. Because if you're avoiding what you truly desire, then you're hindering yourself. You're giving yourself a weakness, which then inevitably will ignite another loop within your life. So you have to expose the lie, which is self-help tells men to kill their urges, stop lusting, stop anger, stop aggression. Civilian men believe suppressing desire equals virtue. That's so far from the truth. So the reality that you have to accept is that suppressed energy leaks into corn, binge drinking, toxic relationships. The shadows you suppress will own you. The shadows you face will serve you. A lot of you run from all of these things. You might even heard me say, stop lust, stop your anger. You need to stay neutral. You need to use all these things. But what does that truly mean on a broad scale? Right? Because the things I tell you when I tell you to move your distractions out the way, get rid of all of these things. Yes, you have to learn for a period of time to get rid of the very things that are hindering you or pushing you into a loop. Because even if I said to integrate your shadow with women and you had a lust problem, you don't even know how to hold your masculine frame enough so that your shadow doesn't consume your entire identity. There is where they don't tell you that you have to get rid of your shadow to a degree first before you learn how to control it, right? So you have to remove it from the whole spectrum that you operate from, because you have to build your structure up enough so that when you integrate it back, it doesn't destroy the whole structure that you build. So you have to learn first to suppress it for long enough so that you can focus all of your energy on building your structure. A lot of you have zero fucking structure. You don't even know how to operate within disciplines for yourself. So how the fuck could someone tell you, oh, add lust or add your desires of women back into your structure? You'll fall right back into the lust trap and be in that loop for years on end. You have to focus a lot of your fucking energy on the structure that you need or that is required to then integrate the very shadow that you've been avoiding, or that people tell you to push off. So pushing it off isn't the whole spectrum. Pushing it off is just half of the work, because the real work is your structure. Now we need to understand that you have to integrate it back to get your full power, right? So the shadow you must use as a weapon, right? Anger becomes clarity and boundaries. Lust becomes polarity and magnetism. Obsession becomes focus and empire building. So you see here how if you have anger, this doesn't mean that you need to go execute on the entire world and be upset. No, structure then gives you the ability to set boundaries around the things that you would have gotten upset about, or that people would poke your weak points to get you or trigger you to be upset. Now, instead, you channel that energy into setting boundaries and into clarity to see what people are trying to get out of you and what emotion they are trying to pin you down to, right? So your anger can easily be used as a fortress around the very structure that you've built. But again, you can't do anything until you've built the structure to be able to have the discipline to use that anger to build the structure. I mean, to build the boundaries, right? And so the next is lust becomes polarity and magnetism, right? So we all desire women, and that was probably one of my biggest loops with women. Right. I allowed women to come in my space, but then they're almost dictating you where to go subtly through seduction. And you allow it because your structure isn't built enough to be able to tell them that this is my identity, this is how I operate, and you control the standpoint, right? So you have to build your structure up strong enough so that now when you integrate women back into your life, it's not a game of, oh my God, I'm lusting and I'm chasing her. No, it's a game of I'm masculine, she's feminine, she's going to be polarized and I'm going to be polarized to her, right? It's the same thing, but guess what? You are the structure and you are the discipline, so you must command the space. And now that turns into you magnetizing women to come to you,
Women are going to polarize themselves to you, come into your space. They're almost going to orbit over a long period of time because there's not many masculine men that can control themselves around women. And so, again, doubling down on the fact that you have to have a structure that is impenetrable, because when you add these desires back in, you have to operate with them and you have to have full control, not letting your shadow take full control over you. Again, so obsession, same idea there. You take obsession, turn it into focus, and start to build something. But I really want you to think, how could you ever get rid of your shadow completely? It's impossible. You need it. It's a part of you, right? If you're always good, and you want life to be great and good, I'm not going to focus on the things that are distracting me. I'm not going to focus on my desires. What does that become? If it's women, you start to then do what? Fantasize about what you want out of women's but never execute on it, which then becomes a weakness. So like you have to integrate your desires back into your life. You have to integrate these shadow things back into your life, but they take on a different persona or a different outcome because your structure rewires it to work for you. That's the biggest thing. So your shadow is raw fuel, and without it, you're neutered. As a man begging for balance, stop fucking looking for that balance, right? You have to create the structure within balance, and then when you integrate the shadow back in, now you have full command and full power. And so the path to integration is stop avoiding what tempts you, step into it consciously. Use controlled polarity, drills, dating, dominance, assertiveness as practice, not escape, right? First thing I learned when I had my structure built all the way back up was that now when I'm integrating women back inside, now it's okay, cool. You can go dating, but not as a civilian. I'm not dating to search for women. Fuck are we talking about? No, I'm seeing how well I can compose myself while a woman is polarized to me, right? Because how could you avoid the things? How could you avoid these things? You can't avoid women forever. That's foolish, right? You need to learn how to operate with them, but you have to have full conscious control over your movements and even over their movements by the way that you set it up. Because if you are the structure and she's the feminine flow, she wants to let her hair down, but she's not going to let her hair down until you fully have the structure put in place. So how could you go into a space with a terrible structure then expect a woman to let her hair down and be fully feminine with you? It's not going to work. You're chasing her, and she knows that. So she baits you. But instead, you frame it as you are the discipline anchor here, and you set up the assertiveness and the dominance, and she just falls because that's what she biologically wants to do. But by almost avoiding it, you never give her that opportunity because you're always in chasing mode. So ease up off of it, build the structure, integrate her back with a strong structure, and now you set up the assertiveness and the dominance that she will then flow into and feel comfortable and safe with. You have to ritualize your urges, training, content creation, building your systems. You don't resist the shadow, you discipline it. You put it on a leash and you make it fight for you. All of these things, whatever your shadows are, right? Your shadow identity, whatever that is, you have to start to take note of what it is and see what powers it can wield for you once you have it under full control. When it's yours and you fully have full control over it, now it's like, okay, cool, I can wield it as a weapon instead of it being used against me to almost sabotage my growth or sabotage the thing that you built. So again, to reiterate, you're building a structure first without your shadows to understand who and what the fuck you are. Then when you go back to your shadows and look, how do you then dominate or discipline or use your shadows in discipline so that it can work for you and give you more power? Right? Imagine how much power you can have when you no longer lust for women, but you assertively put your structure in position so she feels safe enough to enter. And now you tell and command the space and where you're going and how she can then follow your lead, right? All of these things are important because if you were ever to just push off and push off and push off all of the shadow parts of you, you'd end up inevitably burning out, one, because you're always avoiding, but two, you'd end up in a sinkhole within your own internal mind and monologue because now you're worried about fantasies of the desires you want. Your desires are very real and you should have every bit of them, but you need to have full control. And if you know that in your current state, the first thing that you have to do is build a structure because you don't have one, then that's what you need to do and push your shadows to the side, build a structure, and then integrate them back. So your closing decree, every man has a shadow, most hide from it. That's why they stay weak. You're not here to be weak. Integrate the darkness, weaponize it, and ascend. Consider yourself warned.